Hi, pipe smokers. This is Paul Gilson, aka Paul the Pipe Guy. Yeah, coming to you live tonight for Tuesday. So grab your favorite blend, grab your favorite beverage, grab your favorite pipe, and let's have a little smoke together for Tuesday. Yeah. All right. So the weather right now. The time and temperature. Used to be able to, and some of you older people of my generation remember maybe, you used to be able to dial a certain number on the rotary dial phone. It was called time and temperature. It would give you the time and the temperature from your area code. Yeah, super high tech for the 70s and 80s. None of you young kids know about that now. So it is currently 8:18 p.m. Yes, 18 minutes after the hour. And it is time to roll. Now, I only have one pipe tonight, all right? So, let's do the weather first. The weather, actually, current temperature right now in the outskirts of Rochester where I live is 22 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, the relative humidity in my home has gotten from 20% up to 30% because it's been warmer, a little snow melting. Tonight we're going to have a low of 15 degrees. It's currently dark outside. Yeah. In another few months, it's going to be light outside. Thank the Lord. Jeez. And so by 1 p.m. tomorrow, it's going to be 41 degrees Fahrenheit. And the rest of the week, we're going to be in the mid 30s to low 40s with anywhere from 8 degrees to 25 degrees. So it's all over the place. Yeah. Winter's still trying to hold on, but we will eventually be into spring and summer. I can't wait to go to those garage sales on the weekend, go to the farmer's market, all of that stuff. Yeah. So, as far as my beverages I picked for this evening. This one's a special one. For those of you that live in Ireland, yes. Oh, yeah, we have Guinness Draft Stout. Yeah. Now, again, this is not the same beer that they serve in Ireland. It actually is imported from Ireland. But here again, they put it through a heat process and whatever the name of it is, I don't know. I've worked so hard today. I don't have 2 brain cells left. I only have 1 brain cell left, and it's arguing with itself. Yeah, pasteurization. So now, this is not a twist off cap. This is not cheap beer, all right? You're going to pay $11 plus whatever the government taxes you in New York State for this beer, for 6 of them. Yeah. But I wanted to give my Irish friends, and maybe some of those in Scotland, or anyone that likes Guinness Draft Stout. Now, the key to the highway is if you don't have a bottle opener, all right? When we were young kids, we'd take that Pepsi or Coca-Cola and pry it open with our teeth. Well, now that I'm not young and stupid anymore, I'm just stupid. I found different methods. If you don't have an actual bottle opener, which I do, I have several of them. I wanted to show you this little trick with a Bic. Wow, I'm a poet and don't know it. A trick with a Bic. It can be any color, it'll all work the same. So what you do is you take the bottle, and many of you have seen this. It's not twist off, okay? So you hold your fist very tightly. And then what you do is you use the Bic lighter as leverage, and if I can do this properly, I haven't done this in a long time. All right? You go like that. And now it's a cat toy for Callie. Did you see how that just came off with a Bic? Yeah. Anyways, cheers. Cheers. Ooh, nice and dark. I love it. Yeah, no bush beer. What happened to Bush? I don't know. It went away in the 70s and 80s through progression. Never mind. I still like Bush. But we won't go there, okay? So cheers again. A little last sip. I just got done cooking dinner. I made some wonderful chicken breasts. I cut them up and with spices and all of this stuff. And I made a low-fat chicken dinner that I could serve at any restaurant and probably get $25 for with the sides that I made. Cost me around $2.50 to make with everything. Super healthy. It's garlic Parmesan chicken. Anybody ever have garlic Parmesan wings? Now, I tasted this earlier. I haven't eaten it yet because I did want to get 2 for Tuesday in, but it's up there and it's cooling down. I got meals for the next 2 days. All right. Life is good. So, with everything that I made, I can eat 2 full, good, healthy meals with the broccoli. And so I won't get into it, but it cost me about $1.50 a meal. Maybe $3 altogether for 2 full, healthy meals. Yeah, cooked it myself in some 1930s vintage cast iron cookware. I collect that stuff. I like old school stuff. But let's go on, please. Cheers. So the pipe we have chosen this evening is only one pipe. And many of you have seen this. This is my, what is it? I told you I only had one brain cell left and it's arguing with itself. God, I'm working too much. Yeah, it's my K. Woody. Yeah, it's my K. Woody 600. All right. K. Woody 500s and 600s. You've seen this pipe. I've done a review on it. Were made in the United States. They were an entry-level K. Woody. What ended up happening is everybody was buying them by the millions, that they ran out of the briar, so therefore they had to use premium briar and just ate the cost. And this actually was made between 1957 and 1969. This one is an apple-type shaped bowl. I did a review on this pipe. I call it my mechanic's pipe, because if you look at this pipe closely, it's stained on this side, it's stained on that side. I've gone through this review before, but it's not burned. There's no burnout or anything, which leads me to believe that some old mechanic bought this pipe because the dark marks are exactly where your hand would go. He was probably a mechanic or something where he had oily or greasy hands and was puffing on this pipe. It soaked into the briar. And I've left it. I could sand it down, but I think it gives the pipe character. And in that, we have something simple. Some Scotty's butternut burley that I've had jarred in this mason jar since January 13th of 2021. So it's coming up on over a year. Yeah, and it smells good. It's aged. You put them in mason jars or ball jars, it can last 40, 50, 60, 100 years. Only time you need to rehydrate it is because if you open and close it, moisture is going to escape. But if you permanently jar something like that and don't touch it, it's going to remain good for a very, very, very long time. Yeah, so let's start something on fire, all right? Yeah. You pipomaniacs. So when I was cooking dinner tonight, I said, you know what, I'm going to make myself happy. That's the first thing I did was start dinner when I came home for the next 2-3 days. I lit a nice pine scent candle, so there was this wonderful aroma. turned on YouTube and I put 1950s music on, which was like some YouTube video that lasted an hour and 59 minutes. And had that cranked up, man. Had the candle going. I was cooking. Oh, doesn't get any better than that. Oh, this is good. Scotty's Butternut Burley. So Callie the cat is wandering around here somewhere. She's nice and calm. Yeah. 6 months old as of February 1st. Oh. Adam Park. How's my Scottish mate? My pipe smoker buddy. Brad the pipe guy. Walsh Piper 62. Whole bunch of you guys. Too many to list. So we got 514 subscribers. It hasn't really grown, but I haven't done a lot of videos. I don't know. It's just a number. Oh. I love this old, what I call mechanic's pipe. So think about it. That was made between 1957 and 1969. Woodstock was 1969, I believe, August 3rd through something else. I might be wrong. 1957 is when, well, Elvis Presley and Johnny Cash and all those guys started out with Sun Records in 1955. So this could have been made anytime in between those years. Could be between 55 years and, no, 65 years and 51 years old. Who knows? I wish this could talk. And that's why some of my pipes, I don't refinish them. I don't polish them. This one, I did put some hand polish on it. I just wanted to leave it like this. Thinking about some mechanic working on some 1950s American vehicle. Maybe working in a factory. Who knows? Oh, yeah. I got to show you guys something. Guys and gals. So basically, I have these glasses, okay? And I have an appointment to go get new glasses. And I'm a welder. So these are invisible bifocals, all right? So the bifocal is pretty low, all right? And they're scratched to heck because they're 2.5 years old. And, you know, I'm grinding metal and all that stuff. So I found my second pair of glasses that were not invisible bifocals. And you young guys and gals won't understand this, but people that wear glasses will. It has a much higher, it's not invisible bifocal, but the bifocal goes up much further. And when I say bifocal, you use the top part to see better, the bottom part to read better and see things that are closer. So when you're welding, after a while, I can't see out of these things. They're scratched to heck. You can't see it. So I found the second pair of glasses that were like in brand new condition. And the bifocal went way up, and I took them to work yesterday. I was like, oh my gosh, I can see really good with these to weld. The bifocal's up there, and I can see perfectly. All right? I'm going to pause this, and I'll share with you what happened. You may find this interesting. I'll be right back. Okay. All right. So we're back. So I wore this other pair of glasses, and now I remember why I put them away, because I had a little problem with them. But the lenses were totally clear. I had them on. I was welding. I got 3/4 of the way through the day. I was welding like I was on fire. I could see everything. I was like forged on fire. Every weld was coming out perfect. 3/4 of the way through the day, what happens? This lens pops out, and all of a sudden I'm like, what happened? I take my welding helmet off. I look, the lens is sitting on my welding table. All right, I got one lens here and no lens here. All right. I was like, what the heck am I going to do now? I had left this pair at home. Well, the problem was, the reason why I had put these away is because there was a screw that was loose that one of the machinists was so nice to fix for me. Yeah, well, that little fix failed. All right. So now I have one lens and no lens. So, what am I going to weld like with one eye closed? All right. I can't find the screw. Fortunately, I had a pair of cheaters, which cheaters are reading glasses, but I don't like to wear those because then when you take the welding helmet off to grind, you can't see anything. If you look up, you get a headache from them. They're just good for reading, all right? So I basically felt, and those of you that are under 55 will have no clue what I'm talking about, okay? I even tried doing this, all right? I tried putting a thing in my eye like a monocle, all right? I don't know how many of you people know what a monocle is, all right? But if you're familiar with Hogan's Heroes, here I am being an idiot. Yeah, I got a monocle on. Yeah, here's my monocle. I felt like Colonel Klink from Hogan's Heroes. General Bokata, there's never been an escape from Stalag 13. Shut up, Klink. Yeah, that's what I felt like. An idiot. All right, Hogan's Heroes. If you're too young to remember watching it, Google it, YouTube it. It's interesting. So I put the cheaters on, finished the day off, and I had to start the day with these, which are scratched, like they're almost like they've been sandblasted. And if you don't know what that is, Google that too. I don't know. So we'll take care of these later. Yeah, I'll probably step on them now after I threw them behind me. It's usually the way it works. I'll forget I threw them back there, and yeah. Because when I have my appointment on the 26th of this month, yeah, I was going to get those, yeah. It doesn't matter. I had an accident one time before. My wife, who I've been estranged from for 8 years, got stuck, and I had these really expensive glasses called Flexon or something like that. You could bend them, you could twist them like a slinky, whatever. They wouldn't break, all right? So she gets stuck and calls me up. I go over where she lives, and I'm pushing the car out, and I got the I had the glasses on, and I'm pushing it back and forth, and there's like a foot of snow, and she's got things to do and this and that, and I get her out, and I'm like, wait a minute, where's my glasses? And there they are, in the middle of the road, run over by a Chevy Impala. Yeah. At that point in time, about 8 years ago, she probably wishes that they were still on my head and ran them over, but we won't go there. Well, the Flexon glasses apparently are not really that flexible, because if they're run over in a road, I picked them up and they were like, I didn't even, reminds me of a time that I was working part-time at Walmart in electronics, and a guy came in with a bag, and in the bag, he says, was his cell phone, and wondered if we could fix it. And he was mowed lawns for a living, and this little flip phone fell out, and he ran it over with the lawnmower, which chewed it up like, like a wood chipper. And he actually had it in a plastic bag, gathered all the pieces, brought it into Walmart Electronics, and asked if we could repair it. It's like, you what? I was like, hold on, let me call up. God, what's that federal thing that with the whatever, when there's a plane crash and they have to put all the pieces back together to figure out what happened? Yeah, that's what I felt like, a forensic, plane crash, like, whatever. You get the point. Yeah, I don't know. So our oh, by the way, a very good friend of mine, the real Jeff, and I won't mention his last name, he's a very good friend of mine, and he's been a DJ in upstate New York. He started DJing, worked for Dick Clark's father. Those of you who don't know who Dick Clark is, Google his name. I won't waste your time, but most of you know who Dick Clark is. Well, Dick Clark's father, back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, owned a whole bunch of radio stations. And Dick Clark actually was a very nice, personable guy, and his father was very good. And maybe his father owned them in the 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s. But my good friend Jeff has been a DJ since he was 15 years old. He started DJing in Utica, New York for Dick Clark's father's radio station. And can you imagine starting a disc jockey? Well, he was born in 1940. Let's see, he's 3 years younger than my mom. He was born in 1949. All right. So he was DJing in like 1964, 65, 66 is when he started his career. When we had the British invasion, all the 50s music was still well and alive. Well, he's retired from broadcasting. And by the way, he did meet Dick Clark several times back in the 1960s. Said he was a great guy. And so he started this radio station called Rochester Free Radio, and I'll get into that at another time. But I've had an open invitation to go in and do the weather, play guitar, whatever I want. I can do it remotely, whatever. The station's only 50 watts right now is what their tower is, which basically means it has a reach of about 25 to 30 miles. But you can go to the TuneIn app, for you young guys, you know what the TuneIn app is, and listen live. Well, so I'm going to do the weather, maybe something else, I don't know, and I'll keep you posted. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I think I'm going to do, so if you see things on YouTube coming up being like, "Hi, this is the Big PG from Rochester Free Radio. The current temperature is 65 degrees outside in the downtown metro area in the big city by the bay. Yeah, we're going to have a high tonight of blah, 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 and a low tonight. Sunrise tomorrow morning is going to be blah, blah, blah time. And yeah, it's going to be a great day." So for Saturday Oldies Show, we're going to turn you back to Jeff, the real Jeff Moulton. Yeah, live from Rochester Free Radio. That's my cameo performance. Yeah. I'm just doing this for fun. Why not? You know what? Life is an adventure. If you can't look at life as a spiritual adventure or an adventure of things that you've worked all your life so hard, and all of a sudden you realize you're 57 years old, and for a long, long time you haven't done fun stuff like that, and all of a sudden you're like a kid in a candy store. You're like a little kid again, man. I'm going to make the time for that, make time for stuff to do what I'm done raising my kids. Well, you're never done raising your kids, but my youngest boy is going to be 18 in 2 days. I got 9 grandchildren and 1 on the way. Life is good. I've done the best I can, and now it's time for me at 57 years old and still being healthy, regardless of what I did to my body in the 1980s as a young man, going to clubs and, come on. All right, I'm going to say some phrases that the younger generation will not understand. For instance, does anybody know what a crib is? Now, those of you in the UK or someplace else, this is American slang. A crib, yeah. So in other words, you'd tell, your lady, hey, come on over, I got a crib set up. Yeah. Well, a crib, back in the day, was an apartment that you owned. You called it your crib, which later became, I got a bachelor pad. Yeah. Someplace to crash, You don't hear that anymore. My German grandmother used to call the couch a Davenport. When was the last time you heard that? Speaking of Germany, it is 2 for Tuesday, and we have a great German beer here that we premiered the other night. And yes, we're going to use the Bic method to get this. You guys must think I'm nuts. Anyways, I don't know. You want to hear some impressions? I used to be able to do, when my voice was younger, I used to practice impressions. I could do every single Looney Tune character, and those of you who don't know who Looney Tune characters are, Google it. Most of you will. I'm sure the pipe smoker will. I used to be able to do everyone like Rich Little. And if you don't know who Rich Little is, Google that too. I could do them so good. And I'm not bragging, I practiced them. It would drive my kids insane. But let me tell you something. Before my kids, when I was a young single guy, I could go out. I remember one time going out to this club. It was a little bar. And I was a young buck in my 20s. And I could do every Looney Tunes character. Well, I happened to run across like 5, 6 girls that were out that night. And they were all dressed as different Looney Tunes characters. So I says, hey, let me do a voiceover for you. One was dressed as Tweety Bird. I did that voice. I did all the voices that they were dressed up. And they were somehow impressed. I don't know. It was a long time ago. We're talking 37, 38 years ago. What? I don't know. I had fun in my 20s. I wouldn't do that nowadays, but so let's try Ronald Reagan. Well, I don't remember. Or sometimes he'd say, well, Nancy, I don't remember. When the assassination attempt in, I believe, circa 1980 or 1981, I came home. I was like a 16-year-old boy. And back then, the news was slow. There was no internet. And I remember putting my headphones on, listening to my dad's Kenwood stereo, and on Q92 FM, where their handle was, it's Q92 FM, tune it in and tear off the knob. And all of a sudden, we have a service announcement, public, whatever they said. President Reagan has been shot. And he was. Somebody was killed, and he was actually shot just under the armpit. Nobody knew it at the time. He was that close to death. It was a .22 caliber bullet. They said it was explosive, but the news media doesn't know anything about that stuff. It was actually a split shot bullet, which I won't get into. Those of you know, basically the .22 caliber shell wasn't explosive, but it broke into 3 parts, and whatever. Just watch it. So his son Michael comes in, and he's like, Dad, how you doing? And President Reagan, he's like, well, I'm okay. He's like, well, Dad, you've been shot. He's like, what do you have to say to yourself? What do you have to say about that? He's like, well, son, never wear a new suit if you're going to get shot. That was the first time I wore that shirt or that suit, and now it has a hole in it. That's probably a crappy rendition of it, but whatever. I used to be able to do that. And that's a true story. He was that close to death. Google it. So, our German beer here. I have to clear the palate in between smokes. Yes. Cheers. What do they say in Germany? Deutschland. If you want to ask somebody in Germany, how are you doing? You say, wie geht's? If you're in France, you say, ça va. And depending on your voice inflection is how you're doing. If you're Hispanic, you say, hola, ¿cómo estás? And then the person usually answers, muy bien. And if you want to introduce yourself in France, you say, ça va, je m'appelle Paul. If you want to ask what time it is, you say, quelle heure est-il? Yeah, whatever. I don't know. A bunch of useless information. Sprechen Sie Deutsch? Now, if you're in a German... No, we won't go there. Yeah. Anyways, whatever. Let's just shut up, Paul, and drink the beer. Oh, yeah. Whoa, we broke